Hello and welcome back. Okay, that was super exciting talking to Keisha about sugar gamers. And we have another exciting conversation with PK about eFuse. So, PK, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here. It's hard to follow Keisha, that's for sure. Her energy and impact in the community has been incredible. So really honored to see her.
Yeah, we're gonna do our best, but I agree. She's incredible. So first, before we launch into eFuse, just introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about who you are and what did you do before the eFuse.
Absolutely. My name is Patrick Klein. A lot of people call me PK, and I'm the Chief Strategy Officer at eFuse. And my background is a little bit different. I grew up in a small Appalachian town on the river in southeastern Ohio. I had two parents that sacrificed everything for my brother and I, and was lucky enough to go to college at the Ohio State University, graduated with mathematics and finance degree, and went directly into the MBA school in finance. And luckily, got offered a job in collegiate athletics and spent 13 years coaching college basketball and jumped ship to work with Matthew and help take his vision of this LinkedIn for esports and help him make it a reality. And so really blessed. I've been fortunate and lucky. And as I always say, my biggest failures led me to my most successful past. And this is a great example with eFuse.
Yeah, it's like one of our other speakers was talking about how, your career path is never straight. So how you said your greatest failures led you to your greatest successes. It's because, career paths, they just sort
Yeah,
of
we
squiggly.
always think that we know what life's going to bring us, and obviously
It's not
sometimes
true.
somebody else has a bigger plan, and I think that it's for me it's just been filled with blessings and it's just so exciting. I mean, I get to work at a company and a job and for a boss that I get excited to wake up every day and. Without a doubt, impact is our North Star. And so when you can impact a community or an individual, that's something that lives on forever.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So tell us more about eFuse. What is it? And, what's awesome about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So eFuse is a social media platform. It is an ecosystem for gamers, content creators, esports players, influencers to come on. And the most important thing for us is building out a portfolio. And that portfolio is a place where you can really tell your story, keep your personality as a gamer. That was something that was really important for us as we build it out. But you can link your Twitch, your stats, your resume, as you can imagine with the tag LinkedIn for gamers. But there's a lot of great places to build out what we like to say your kind of digital resume in the gaming community, and then you use that community that portfolio to go find opportunities. And those opportunities could be for a high school kid, a college scholarship. It could be for a college student. It could be a job or an internship. And for the casual gamer, it could be a $25 or $100 Fortnite event. So it goes as big as, this week we launch Women of the Arena 6, which is a $26,000 prize pool. So we really are trying to create an ecosystem that allows gamers to be discovered. And that's something that's really important for us to give them the opportunities, the pathways, the education to go chase their passions and their dreams.
I think that's really cool. And I earlier you referred to it as the LinkedIn of esports, and I really like that. And I think it's very important too, because right now, for example, if you're a host or like a shoutcaster or something, you don't really have a single place to keep all of that. You may be sending a YouTube link with your reel, and you're emailing your resume or whatever it is. So having like you said, that LinkedIn, you can just send them the link to your eFuse page and everything is in one place.
Yeah, it's beautiful, and I think to your point too, it's really important that people, especially young people, understand the paths and the pathways that are in this community now. I mean, the industry has grown so much, and so it doesn't matter what area of study or what you're passionate about. If you are a communications or a JCom major and love gaming, you could be a caster, or a writer, or whatever, an editor. If you are an engineer, I can go build a video game for Epic or Activision or Riot, So we take a lot of pride too in kind of bridging that gap of education to show what pathways, what jobs exist. And we have some incredible partners that help us do that, like Hitmarker and some Scholastic partners as well that help get those words out and really provide kind of these experiences that are life changing. And we've had some incredible stories, as you can imagine, of people that have been discovered through the platform, have gotten jobs or gotten contracts, or just have had success winning a big event. And I think that those are the stories that kind of motivate you every day in the community. And that's what we want. We want the community members to see each other and see the successes that each other are having.
Yeah, absolutely. And I actually wanted to ask you because you were talking about pathways and how some of the experiences translate, right? Like if you said you can have a different major, but then be a shoutcaster. So I wanted to ask you, what is a math and econ major doing at eFuse? What are your day-to-day activities like?
Yeah, it's funny because I don't think I use as much as I remember studying. That's for sure. Those hard math questions, not fun. But you know what? My daily is about relationships. How can I go out externally with the partnerships that we have, with the future events that we're doing, with the great relationships that can exist. One of the things that we talk a lot about is just focusing more on collaboration than competition, and how that's going to affect the industry for the long term in the future. That we need to consolidate and work together to build stronger structures, build stronger pathways, to provide more opportunities. And I think that comes with collaboration. There's some amazing companies, there's some amazing leaders. And so I'm fortunate enough to go out and get to speak to these people and get inspired by them and hear their stories, like Keisha, and share and help her share her mission and help her share and have a platform for her opportunities. So that's what we like to do, and that's what happens every single day for me. And I'm also really, really lucky because I work with a team. My colleagues are just inspiring. They're brilliant. They care about the community, and one thing that you'll hear from them, a lot of things, but one thing is impact is our North Star. That's just something that we wake up. You're going to hear that a lot from the people. And so when we're able to take an opportunity and really share that with the community, it's something that's really special for us.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's important to have a North Star, right? I mean, organizations that really don't really have an idea of like, okay, this is the singular thing that we're driving towards, that they're not going to do as well. So that's definitely really important to have. So tell us about some of the things that are happening at eFuse. So obviously it's a platform, but are
Yeah.
there like events? Are there outreach events that you're working on? Anything like that?
Yeah, there's some really amazing things coming up that I can kind of tease and share. One things when we first got involved in the community, we brought together some of the best collegiate coaches, and created a little advisory board and just really listened for 8 months about what were some of the struggles, what were some of the things that they needed help on, because it maybe wasn't there or the structure didn't exist. And so there was two things. One is help them be better storytellers. Not only the programs, I think that they did that fairly well, but more importantly, the students and the players and the successes that they were having. And so you'll see in our learning portal some incredible content. We just finished the CRL. We did some incredible work with the players and the coaches and the programs and the community to kind of share that. And we wanted to do that for every collegiate kind of vertical. And so that was a huge success. And then the second piece was recruiting. And so we have some really great things coming out that's going to help college coaches and program directors and universities find talent, because it's hard to find talent. That's one of the things that we love about eFuse, is that it does provide some sort of demographic data and professionalism to your portfolio. And I think that early on it was animated, being kind of hidden is something that was almost pushed. But now when there's so many careers that are out there, it's something that's like, hey, that professionalism is important, and it could lead to a job and a career that's very long and lasting. And so we want to provide those coaches with the ability to find talent, find the people that they want in the regions that they want, and then spread that talent across so that there's more competition in college. So that's one thing that we're really, really focused on. The other thing is just the events. I mean, we've had some incredible things. We just finished 2 rounds of the TP trials. It was incredible talent, and the competition was amazing. We have Women of the Arena 6, our sixth Women of the Arena event, which is the largest all women event. This one in particular is with Warzone, and we're doing it with a rocker. We announced it last week with the theme Visionaries. And I think that that's something that we really like to give a platform to tell some of the stories of these incredible women in the space, like Joanna Ferries and what she's done with the CDL and Activision Blizzard, to somebody like Midnight, who is the director of content for the Rocker version 1, and what she's done as a COD pro to now, really impacting the community. So those are the stories that we really like to tell. And one of the things that COVID taught us is that this virtual kind of this life that we're living now, we're able to bring cultures together. So, professional athletes, what people didn't realize is when they go home, they go play video games. Entertainers and rappers, we were able to do a Gunna event for his last album, and we have plans for another event that should be really, really incredible in the entertainer space. And it's just, those are fun for us. Those are fun for the community to really, provide these platforms for people to see their heroes and play with their heroes, and I think that that's something that's really cool.
That sounds incredible. Imagine like playing video games with your favorite musician or something like that.
Exactly.
That's incredible.
Yeah, no, and you know what? It never came true or really kind of hit a spot for me until Seth Curry was talking about how the first time he felt connected to his fans was the first time that he streamed. And when you think about it, you're streaming and they're able real time to ask you questions, and it's just you and them. And I think that that's something that's really special. And I think that influencers especially, they forget how impactful that they are, and how close, and that you could be changing that person's perspective. You could show somebody that they could be a caster, and you're their example. And I think that that's so important. And I just love this community because there's so many incredible people with great stories, and we just want to provide a platform that allows them to tell that in such an inspiring way.
Absolutely. Now, I want to ask you about your I Believe Foundation. Like, what is it? What does it do? And why is it awesome?
Yeah, so the I Believe Foundation was started in 2011, and like I said, I grew up in a small Appalachian town community. The federal government has deemed 13 states and kind of 32 counties in Ohio in particular that are considered Appalachian. And what that means is, kind of underserved communities. And what I wanted to do is help kids from that region go to college. I mean, only 17.7% go to a 4-year institution. And what was really important for me is just to get them out of that region, send them to a college campus for a week, and really find great mentors, because sometimes that's really hard to find in those communities. And so bring college kids in that have had success, that are doing things at a high level, that want to give back, and impact is their North Star. And a great example is Matt Benson, our CEO and founder. He was a volunteer, and our staff was like, we got to get Matt to come and be a staff member. And he was, and he fell in love with impacting a lot of students, and he impacted a lot. He even came up with his own nonprofit for the region, which tells the stories of the Appalachian people, normal people, and giving them a platform to share their stories. And so again, it's just a way to give back. And what's really great about first generational college students, though, is their families are now at an 85+% more likely chance to go to college. So when you do impact one person's life, it's generational. And I think that that's been something that I believe continues to do, even though I'm focusing more, right now on eFuse and building that. They're still doing incredible things, and I'm really, really proud of the leadership and the leaders that have come from that. There's some incredible stories.
Absolutely. It's interesting. You said it's sometimes hard to find mentors, but I think it's often hard to find mentors, especially
Yeah,
good mentors. So we absolutely need programs like I Believe, or Keisha's Sugar Gamers, like
yeah,
anybody who really is out there trying to help, trying to create impact. uh, as their North Star, right? To really help others to pay it forward. So that's incredible. That's absolutely so important.
And if I may say something, Maya, like one of the things that I've learned, and even now for me, is like just ask. I think that the scariest thing is like, oh, I just can't go reach out and ask. And I think I look back to when Matthew and was starting, kind of the eFuse and who he has brought on board as his mentors for our company. People like Sundance at Vindex, formerly MLG, Adam Apicella at Esports Engine, Nicole Pike, formerly at Nielsen, now at YouGov. These are people that have done it for a long time, and it wasn't like he had these close relationships. He asked, hey, I really respect how you've grown, like you're in this industry. I really respect how you do things. Would you be a mentor? And I think sometimes we're all afraid to ask, that they think that people are just too far away. But
Hmm.
I think people in natural want to help. They want to give back. They want to pay it forward. They've been in your shoes before. And so I just always would suggest that to reach out to the people that you're inspired by and ask them to be a mentor. And take 30 minutes a month or every 2 weeks to talk about some of your ideas, your life, and really ask them to tell you the truth. I think that's what we're all afraid of, is to hear the truth, right?
Well, maybe, but I think that the being afraid to ask, I think you're spot on. I think a lot of people, I think people, especially who didn't grow up with a lot of support in their life, especially, aren't really like, sometimes it just doesn't occur to them, right? It's not even that they're afraid, they just sort of had to struggle kind of supporting themselves and always looking out for themselves. Like, they don't really think to ask for help.
Great
So
point.
I think that's an amazing reminder. It's no tip is too simple, because starting simple is actually the best way. And then the other side of it, like you said, like we think of these folks who have already made it as being like so high up and they're so
Yeah.
far away and they'd never want to talk to me. But I think you're absolutely right that most people want to help. They remember what it's like to be starting out, and they want to pay it forward. They want to share their information, their tips, their experiences. So
100%.
absolutely.
I couldn't agree more.
So, what experience would you like to share, sort of, for any students, any young folks out there who are looking to join esports? Maybe they're already in college and they're studying something other than, even computer engineering or esports. What advice do you have for them in terms of joining this industry?
I'm going to touch on a few points here because I
Hmm.
think there's things that really kind of hit home for me. The first is go like whatever industry you want to be in, whether it's a caster or an engineer or a team owner even. Go find somebody that's doing it at the highest level in the way that you want to do it, and go learn from them. Read about them. Watch their podcast. Watch an interview that they've done, and really try to imitate that. But there's one piece of it, you need to innovate as well, because you can't be them exactly. You don't have their personality. You don't have their background. So you have to take all the things that you learn and make it yours, that fits you and your path and your personality. So imitate then innovate. That was one of the things that really was kind of been my life lesson. Whether it was coaching or starting a business or now in my job as the chief strategy officer, same thing. Secondly, read. I'm a super nerd. I'm a proud super nerd. And I don't mean read just like read, pick up a book, like this. I mean like listen to a podcast. Constantly learn, and things change. And go listen and be obsessed with people's journeys and stories, because those tell so much, and you can learn so much from them. And then the last thing is jump in the fire. There's no better way to learn than to do, and to fail forward, and to learn where your strengths are and what your weaknesses are. And really self-awareness will guide you in a way that you can then be successful and happy. But along the way, take notes, write things down, and make sure that you understand what you're capable of and what you're willing, and what you stand for. Why I love the musical Hamilton, right? He really talked about standing for something, and I think that's something, because times will be tough. There's going to be rainy days, And it's going to be really important that you stand firm in what you believe in. And I think that that's going to help you along the way. And as long as you do that, you're going to find success. And like you said earlier, Maya, it's not a straight path. There's going to be failures, there's going to be peaks, there's going to be valleys. But as long as you keep moving and pick yourself up and face the day, you're going to be doing it. And last but not least, and I must say this because this is the most important, is be positive. No one wants to be around a negative Nelly. No one. It doesn't matter how smart you are, how talented you are. You'll find yourself alone, and being alone is not going to cut it if you want to do some amazing things. So that's kind of my life lessons.
Absolutely. I love all of those. I think the last one, like you said, is really important. When we talked to the collegiate esports panel yesterday, Russ said that he said, there's really talented players who really are good with mechanics, but they never win. And the reason they don't win is because they're so toxic. They're so negative to the team. It's just, it doesn't pan out for them. So being positive, I mean, it takes you further than you think.
Yeah, it's a +2 on the cool scale. I mean, it's an automatic. And and again, like your energy is so important to like one, people wanting to work with you and wanting to work by you, but two, just even like yourself. You can change the way you think and look at the world in a positive way, and you're going to be more successful, and you're going to want to work a little bit harder. You're going to want to do more than just the woe is me. And I think that's really, really important that we keep this positive attitude and go seek people that are like that and that can push you. And that's what I love about the eFuse team. I mean, there's people that we constantly are picking people up. We went from 6 employees to, I think by the end of, probably Q2, we'll have around 40 employees, which is insane. Wow. And so as you can imagine, like each new person brings their own little kind of personality to it that lifts you up and really kind of pushes you to be great. And but that's what I love about our culture. And we say culture wins because we really, really believe it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I totally agree. Okay. I have a question for you that might be a little tough. Maybe you don't have an answer for it, but it's about perseverance, right? Because you said there's going to be dips, there's going to be hills and there's going to be valleys, and you have to push through it and keep working. But here's a tough question is sometimes you have to quit, right? Because maybe that's not your path, right?
Yeah.
So, because when you get into any kind of industry, and we're obviously going to use esports as an example because that's what we're talking about, but if you think that you want to maybe be a shoutcaster and you try that out, but then you decide that actually the production side is what you really like, how do you tell between like a valley that you should persevere through, or okay, that's the quitting point where really maybe I should try a different path?
It's a great question. Yeah, that's a really, really good question. I think that you have to listen. I mean, I think that you have to listen to your heart. And you have to listen to what excites you and where sometimes you have to chase opportunities versus just what you want. There's a lot of things that I do on my daily basis that I probably don't want to do, but that's part of learning. That's part of the job. That's part of being a part of a startup. And you can't bunch all of that up to say, well, I don't like this job because of those things. So I think that you just got to learn and listen and write down the things that you love, and you try to get a little bit more spoonfuls every single day of those really things that you're passionate about, that get exciting, and go and be an expert in them. I think that, like, not to date myself, but when I went to MBA school, a generalist was really, really popular, right? Like MBA is like like I want to be a generalist, but
Mm-hmm.
now people seek like a master's of marketing or a master's of operations because they want an expert. And I think that that's one of the things that you can make yourself really relevant if you become the expert in something.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes people don't want to do that because they think it may not be cool, or the job's not sexy enough. What I think that the reality is, if you love doing it every day and you get excited about learning about that and tackling it, go down that path. Because you're gonna learn some other things about yourself along the way. So I would just say wake up every day and fight those battles and face the fire and listen to your heart. Listen to what excites you and what you get excited about. And if you start complaining about something, it's probably not for you. So get out. But to the old song, you got to know when to hold them. You got to know when to fold them. And
That's
sometimes
the hard question though.
right?
You don't know.
Yeah, you just gotta, you don't know exactly, but you gotta listen and
Mm-hmm.
and take risk. I would tell you too.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So listen to yourself and like you said, write things down, learn from your mistakes. Hopefully that'll help guide you. That's
Yeah.
good advice.
And
That's
I
good
think
advice.
mentors, that's where mentors come in because they
Hmm.
can see the changes. Sometimes you get so ingrained. I mean, especially in a startup for me, like I get so ingrained with my day to day task that when you're around a mentor, it's like, man, you seem like you're in the box right now. And I was like, man, I didn't feel like I was in the box, but yeah, you're right, I am. So I need to get it myself out of the box.
Hmm.
And I think that that's why you have to have great mentors that will tell you the truth, and give you great feedback because that's really, really important.
Absolutely. Totally agree. Okay. Well, PK, we have just a couple minutes left. Do you have any parting words of wisdom for our viewers?
No, I'm so excited. First off, thanks for having me, Maya. You're amazing as always, and just really grateful to be here. And want to thank Josh and all the group for putting this together. And as I talk about the portfolio, I'm really talking to students. But if you're an administrator, a teacher, it's all of our responsibility for this community to make it stronger and to collaborate. So if there's anybody that needs or wants to collaborate, reach out, share, with how we can be helpful and impactful at eFuse, and we would love to be a part of this. That's how Josh and I actually got connected. I was, how can we be helpful? And sure enough, he was sharing with me about this event. So um, really, really appreciate you allowing me to speak today.
Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your expertise and your generous offer to collaborate. How can folks find you and reach out to you if they'd like to do that?
Yeah, you can find me on eFuse, Chief Strat. That's my social media presence. LinkedIn as well. You can reach out or email me at pklein at efuse.io.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, thank you so much for being here, PK. And we will take a quick 15-minute break and we will be back with more exciting, amazing, inspirational advice and information for you guys.